Halloween season, everyone. Welcome to the spooky episode of Educated Discussions. Today I am joined by
Tara,
my wife, and we are here to review and talk about our trip to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, Florida. For the year of 2023. Elmo couldn't be here today because he got struck by lightning twice. And he also wasn't able to go to Horror Nights. So that's why he isn't joining us today. So it was just you, me, and our friend Brad this year. Everyone else abandoned us. So it was just the trio. So now that we've done Halloween Horror Nights, what did you want to talk about the most? I see you have a lot of notes. I actually don't have any notes this time.
No.
So I'm gonna wing this with you, and I'm gonna kind of let you mostly lead because I never seen you put so much work into a cast. So, where did you want to start?
Okay, so here's the thing. If you know me, and you guys don't, but I get scared at everything. Okay. So literally anything can make me jump and scream. So the reason I had to put so much work into this is because my eyes were closed through a lot of it.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So I had to do a lot of research just to remind myself
what happened.
What happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I actually I rated the house from all the houses from what I think was the scariest.
Oh, wow.
To not so scary. I have some things that I liked and some disappointments.
Right.
I briefly took notes on a couple random things.
Okay.
And scare zones and food. I was hoping you would lead so that I could know where to start.
Well, no, what did you want to jump straight into the houses, or do you want to build to that? Did you want to just talk about the overall experience this year, how this year maybe stacks up, or did you just want to dive into the houses?
I think maybe start with food to
whet the appetite.
Scare zones to random things.
Okay.
No, maybe random at the end. Yeah, random at the end. Okay. So food, then scare zones, then houses, then random. Okay.
All right. Now, it is... Well, a lot of people that go to Halloween Horror Nights definitely know that the food they always have exclusive food specific to theme around the houses they get for that year. And typically they are exclusive. And you can only get it at that time of the year during the Halloween Horror Nights season. So as silly as it sounds to maybe start with food, it is kind of a big deal. And they now even have a whole press thing where you can go and preview only the food, and you pay a lot of money to go try every single food that's going to be at Horror Nights early. That was a thing that I think they just started this year. I'm not really sure, but that's definitely the year that I noticed it. And this has been the year where the food actually looked like something I would try, because theme park food is never really the best. It could vary. There'll be, there's safe bets, chicken nuggets and pizza and stuff, but ultimately theme park food isn't my favorite. Last year we tried some foods and I wasn't a huge fan of some of the favorites that people had. But this year, they had one of my favorite franchises of all time, which is The Last of Us. And they had food for it. Unfortunately, it had included some things that I wasn't a huge fan of, but we'll discuss that. So yeah, let's begin with the food that we tried, because this year we didn't try everything we wanted just because we got full.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, mission accomplished. But yeah, let's discuss the food that we ate. What did you want to start?
Okay. I don't know if I got everything. I feel like I'm still missing things. Oh, yeah, I am. But you can talk about that because that was your thing. First, you said it wasn't completely exclusive to just this year. Was the pizza fries?
The pizza fries they have all the time, yeah.
All the time during the parks, or just Halloween Horror Nights?
I honestly don't know. I have a feeling they always have them there at that kid zone because it's pizza and fries together. So I feel like kids would just love that, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw that in as part of it because I've never had it before and got it there.
People get it. People mention the pizza fries always when they mention the foods they tried at Horror Nights. They always mention pizza fries because they're just good.
Yeah. So I don't know if we would rate it on a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10.
Oh, okay. I don't know we're rating them, but okay. Yeah, well, let's just do out of 10. That's the preferred scale.
Okay. I would give the pizza fries a solid 5.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I love French fries and I love pizza, but I just didn't love it together. Like, maybe if it was like a pizza with French fries rather than French fries with pizza toppings, I might like it a little better. But it was fine.
Yeah, I will say that it was definitely hyped up a lot, that dish, because every single year when people are talking about it, and again, we don't really go for the food that often, but this is our first time getting it, and they always mention pizza fries. So it's like, all right, we're finally getting this hyped up thing, and really it wasn't that great. So
Yeah, it's
I'm probably on the there with you. I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't have too much because at that point, the pizza fries were your dish, and I was having the twisted taters. We were of course sharing, but it was mostly your dish. So I only had a few of them, and I liked them, but it wasn't anything amazing. I don't know if I want a whole dish to myself. So yeah, I'm probably around there with you, 5, maybe 6. I did enjoy it, especially when those fries had all the sauce on them and that cheese. Not as much cheese as I'd want, but when it was there, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was chunky, but it was like, it wasn't quite Ninja Turtle cheese that it was super stringy, but it was a little stringy because there was a lot of it, but like,
okay,
it wasn't stringy fresh.
Gotcha.
It was fine.
All right, then.
It's like, I don't need it ever again, probably.
Gotcha.
There's other new things I can try again.
Now, to piggyback off of that, since I mentioned the Twisted Taters, me and Elmo, big fans of the Twisted Taters. However, they've been kind of screwing up a lot. With the exception of last year.
Yeah.
Last year's Twisted Taters was just a gift sent from God or something. I don't know. It was very, very good. They not only were the Twisted Taters like perfect, but they had some like I forgot, some kind of white queso cheese on it mixed with ghost pepper and flaming hot. It was just incredible. This year they didn't have that anymore. It was just back to the normal Twisted Taters. They now added an extra seasoning flavor, Last of Us themed. It was like, oh goodness, I want to say it was called porcini, and I looked it up and it's some kind of mushroom extract or mushroom powder. I didn't get that. I just got simple ghost pepper and I mix it with sour cream and chives. They were fine. Yeah. Nothing special. I would say on the lower end of the Twisted Taters. Not bad. I still enjoyed the crap out of them, but just when you compare it to last year, it's just night and day.
Yeah, like I had that in my notes, like Twisted Tater. I miss last year's. Like last year's was like the best one I ever had. Like last year's I probably would say was like a 9 or 10. Just because it was so good. But this year was just like the rest of the years. It's like a 7. Because it's like they're really good. And they're good when they're fresh because sometimes they are a little bit soggy and like softer.
This year I noticed that they had a bunch already made. And they just handed you the ones and then just put the seasoning on top.
Yeah.
But when I've gotten them in previous years, they make them live in front of you and like give it to you fresh, steaming and everything. And that's when they're the best. This year was not the case, at least during the time that we went. So I'm right there with you. Probably like a solid 7. Not great, but I prefer them over the pizza fries still. So.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Then I put that Chucky whoopie pie in there. I just had to get it because it was big.
It was cool. Yeah, it was
for $7. Like, and I feel like for that price, for the type of stuff there is, like, I feel like the stuff is kind of like overpriced. But I was like, oh, $7 for a Chucky dessert isn't as bad as like other stuff could be.
Right.
And I actually really liked it. It was super rich.
Yeah, very, very rich in flavor.
So like, I only had a couple bites of it
at
the park. Yeah. And then I brought it home and I literally just finished it.
Today, right?
Almost a week later.
Yeah.
But it was tasty. It was like yummy cake. It was just...
It was cool looking. You got Chucky's twisted face printed on it. So it was kind of neat.
Yeah. And
fit the theme.
It stayed fresh throughout the week. Like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it was moist all week. Every bite I took.
I actually took a bite a couple of days ago too. It was still good.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So, I don't know what I'd rate it. I guess like an 8 for desserts. I don't know. It was really good.
Yeah, it was solid.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
And then I got was it the ravioli rations?
Yeah, you got the Fedra ravioli rations. This was the Last of Us themed meal. If I'm not mistaken, it was ravioli and tomato sauce on top of a garlic bread that was all soggy at the bottom.
Yeah.
That we didn't even know, that you forgot about to the very end. You're like, oh yeah, there's more. And then on top was, you said it was onion crispers or something. I heard it was still mushroom crisps. That's what I heard. And that's why I avoided this. I am not a fan of mushrooms. Huge fan of Last of Us. But Tara still got it. And now I have the really cheaply made can as a souvenir that says Fedra on it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like, I didn't taste mushrooms in it, and I wish you would have, like, tried more instead of being afraid of it. Unless they were, like, cream of mushroom type mushrooms diced up. But, like, I really didn't taste it that much. And
I can taste it.
Yeah, I guess so. And then, like, the things on top that they reminded me of onion crispers, whatever, you know, like the little onion Frenchy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You get them on burgers sometimes.
Yeah, but there wasn't even a lot of them in there.
No,
like,
it was just decoration.
It was decoration, but I mean, like, it was a lot less than the picture. But it was filling. And then I was, like, ready to, like, throw the rest away, even though I didn't want to, but Felipe wasn't going to eat it.
Yeah.
But I actually ate all the raviolis out of it, and when I went to go to the bottom of it, I was like, oh, this is a garlic bread. And then I was like, well, let me try a bite of it. It was because it was so soggy. It was nasty. They should have, like, put it on the side or something. I don't know. They really didn't need it.
Okay. So what's your rating?
Like a 7.
Okay.
Because I really love ravioli, and I really liked that ravioli.
So, to partner with the Last of Us thing you got, I was pleased to see that they had a Last of Us thing that I could potentially do. Now, this was a Korean, I forgot what, a cordyceps corn dog or something. I think that's what the name was. It was a Korean cheese corn dog covered with a whole bunch of, like, shredded fries and the littlest bit of a mushroom sauce. But I told them to take it easy with it, and they did, so it wasn't enough. I still wanted to experience all of it, but thankfully it wasn't actual mushrooms. It was, like, a little bit flavored. So anyways, so I tried it, and it was very impressive for, like, the first 2 bites. Because the cheese in there was Ninja Turtle stringy cheese. It was just pulling off, and it was cool. But I kept trying to find the hot dog because it desperately needed the meat to balance off with all this cheese and pretty much chips. I mean, it's fries, but
and
very
it was, like,
crispy.
kind of sweet too.
I think that might have been some of the sauce. I'm not really sure, but it was really cool at first, but it turns out like maybe a fourth of it had an actual hot dog in it. It looked like they put a Vienna sausage in there.
Or, like, cut their hot dogs in half.
And this was a big thing. Like, when I got it, there was weight to it. That thing was a very packed, and if you're into that stuff, very worth it meal. Because it really wasn't that much. It was like $12 or something. And it was hefty. But it was just too much flavor for me and not enough hot dog to balance it out because it needed it. Very disappointed in that. I threw the rest away after, like, I finally found the hot dog and ate the good part. There was just so much that kept falling down on the plate. I was just like, I don't want this anymore. I'm not enjoying it. So that's a solid 3.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool at first, but no, it was no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you took a couple bites, but you didn't seem too impressed and didn't really ask for more.
No.
Now, the highlights, a thing that I did not expect to like, and I only did it because my friend did it.
You know you wanted to like it, though.
I did want to like it, but I honestly did not expect it to. This was the Stranger Things, I think it was called Peanut Butter Burger. Clever name, I think.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, I'll post the picture. They'll see the name or whatever. But anyways, it was a smash burger, which I've been getting into recently. And it was a smash burger on a pink bun. It was like had like the infected Stranger Things looking stuff on top of the bun. It looked cool, and it had bacon, jalapenos, and then peanut butter and jelly, which to me is weird. And I was telling our friend Brad, because he likes burgers and he likes to try weird stuff, and he's always about that. And I'm like, you should try it. I feel like you'll like it. He's like, yeah, I feel like I probably would. And then while he's in line to get that, I'm like, crap. All right, I'll get it. Because it's like, this is the only chance I'm gonna get it. This is the Stranger Things one or whatever. Yo, that was pretty good. Like, it was weird. It's a mix of flavors that I don't think they should work. And it sounds dumb, but I don't know if they actually did work together, but I guess it did if I enjoyed it. And I don't know, that's like contradicting myself, but I don't know. It was like one of the weirdest experiences I've had, but it was very good. And that was the highlight and surprise of the night in regards to the food. Yeah,
because like it wasn't overwhelming. Like the balance was like well done. I feel like they figured out like just a touch of it, enough to like be there and be like, oh, I taste the jelly and the peanut butter, but not like this is too much.
Right. And Brad seemed to like it as well, so it wasn't just me. So very good. I'm gonna give that a 9. Let me tell you, that was good.
It was smaller than I was expecting, but I guess
it was like
it was almost slider size.
Yeah, it was like a value menu a McDonald's burger size.
Or a junior Whopper.
I haven't had a junior
Even
Whopper.
smaller.
Maybe. I don't know. It was small.
It was small.
Not full slider, but not full burger either.
Yeah.
But it was neat. And then anything else?
I think that was all the food.
I mean, let me tell you, we hit that butterbeer hard.
Oh yeah, we got the butterbeer twice.
Good. No, it's not obviously Horror Nights, but when in Rome.
Right. And then
God, butterbeer's just it's too good. It's too good. Anyways.
And then oh yeah, you should like have them comment whatever, like frozen or regular. Because if you're regular.
Yeah, that was Brad. He had the regular. And we had the frozen, but yeah, curious. I don't know if I ever had the regular, or if I did, I was just wishing I had gotten the frozen the entire time I was.
Yeah, I feel like the very first time that I got butterbeer ever, I got the regular because it's like
this is the one.
More, I was like, well, it's like $1 cheaper, but no.
Gotta go frozen, guys.
Frozen every single time.
Yeah, I don't care how cold it is outside.
Comment below what you think.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I believe that was everything we had.
Yeah, I did get one of their like Halloweeny drinks, adult drinks.
Oh, okay.
But I just like to get the souvenir cups. That's the main reason, because they light up and they're like really pretty.
Yeah. And
then the blue drink inside of it looked really pretty, and I picked a good one this year. I mean, if you're into that, but whatever it was like electric shock or something.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's like if it's blue, it's usually a good one.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with blue.
Yeah, but
okay. Yeah, one thing I did want to try was it was something poutine, but I was just too full at that time, so
yeah,
didn't get a chance to try. That was my only thing really that I was honestly trying to get, but I never got a chance to get. So anyways, that was the food.
Yeah,
Where do you want to venture off into now? You said scare zones?
Yeah, scare zones.
All right. I'm going to let you kind of lead this one, because scare zones, I'll be honest, none of them really stood out for me. The only thing that stood out for scare zones was how much this person was dancing in the groovy one. And then vampire lady was hot. That was really it.
In the same scare zone though, right?
No.
Oh, you're talking about like the baddie looking one?
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, vampire bat lady.
Yeah.
She was working it, but
yeah, because of her body. I mean, obviously her face was a giant bat mask thing.
Hey, listen, you take what you can get.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
In
first
the dark. All right. Anyways, go ahead.
in the fog. It sets
In the
the
fog.
mood.
No one knows.
But the way she like slowly turned around, though, that was kind of
No, she was working them stilts.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and talk about. Let me see if I can pull up the list here of.
Well, I only have 3 notes
Oh,
for
okay.
scare zones, and one of them isn't really a scare zone. But overall, I said they're fine.
Yeah.
Like like you said, nothing really stood out because I feel like they were all kind of like similar monsters, kind of.
It felt that way.
And-
The section that had the bat lady,
Yeah.
and then the section by the Born section, it looked like the same
Yeah.
set, like the same designs, like the same theme.
Yeah. So it.
Eh.
Yeah, they were fine. I put the 70s vampires or 60 whatever, that groovy, like you said. The
Mhm.
groovy vampires were the most fun just because they were like
You were silly.
and the one was dancing.
So
and
that was called Vamp 69 Summer of Blood.
Okay. Yeah. And it was fun because like they were just walking around and they were like hippies and there was like
There was some banging music.
Yeah.
Old music from that time, and yeah, just a whole bunch of bloody hippie vampire looking things, and
Yeah, and
a
like
lot of them were dancing, and it was just like a fun groovy time.
yeah, it was like it was at like a concert or something, and they
Yeah,
had
that's
like a
what it
little
was.
stage, and like there was a guitar neck through like a person's head or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was cool, and I just like vampires like that because if it's a house full of vampires, it's like I don't know. I'm like more afraid of them, but in the
Mhm.
scare zone, I'm just like whatever.
But yeah, it had just a silly backdrop.
Yeah, but
Okay.
and then the one that I was talking about that like I don't really think it counted as a scare zone was the Death Eaters.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, the Death Eaters or whatever in the Harry Potter world. So it was good that we stopped by there so that we could at least see them because that's what we
Yeah.
were saying. Like, why isn't this a thing yet?
Yeah.
And then finally they had them, but then I was like, I wanted more of their little show.
Yeah.
Maybe we just caught it at a weird time, but I just wanted more from that.
Yeah, I was telling Elmo last year that the Hollywood Horror Nights, they had Death Eaters last year as an actual scare zone. And Elmo was like, well, what the heck? That's a missed opportunity here
Yeah.
too. And this year, although they weren't a scare zone, they did have like a planned performance that they did a couple times a night. So I didn't know this until I started seeing people crowd around a certain area in Diagon Alley. And then you, me, and Brad were about to leave, but we came back with our butterbeer, and then we got to catch a little bit of the performance. And then they actually all went out into the crowds and stuff. I had some footage, but it was Snapchat and unfortunately got deleted. If not, I would share it. But it was kind of cool
Yeah.
to see it. And it's just like, I ain't scared of Death Eaters, but it's like, if you got Harry Potter World, do the Death Eaters.
Yeah, that's like
you know?
the creepy part.
So, anyways, so that was cool. But yeah, I mean, they had other ones. They really just don't stick out. I mean, there's always the entrance scare zone, Dr. Oddfellows collection of horror. I don't even remember what that really was.
Yeah.
Dark Zodiac. You know that section that they usually nail, it's always scary, with that really tight section that's always woodsy. They
Yeah.
always make it most of the time. That one was called Jungle of Doom Expedition Horror. Both times we happened to walk through there, those characters just weren't on it.
No.
They were like, the tone and everything set in that little area, always top notch and scary, because like they always pump so much freaking fog, and it's such a tight corridor that you sometimes can't even see in front of you for a little bit. So that does, raise tension and stuff, and like what's gonna be around the fog. But I got through the fog, and those people weren't doing nothing. They were just like there. There was this one really cool designed creature with a whole bunch of eyes and wings on stilts.
Mm-hmm.
And both times he was just standing there that we walked through. Never
Yeah.
did anything. And I'm just like, well, why are you here?
Yeah.
This could have been a puppet,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not going to do anything. So that one was a disappointing one, because that's usually one of the ones I look forward to, just because of how tight knit and close that all is. So anyways, so yeah, not too much to really say on the houses. I'd say a little underwhelming this year.
Zones.
Or yeah, scare zone. My bad. I haven't really remembered any amazing scare zones in recent years. I feel like they're all just
Yeah, they're
you know.
fine.
So I do like it when they do get one that's themed around a movie, because then you at least can point to like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Like when they did Trick or Treat that one year,
Yeah.
and it was in that same jungle area that I mentioned. That one was cool.
And
But
Purge.
that, I mean, that just works perfectly for that area that they usually have it in. And yeah, just other ones. I'm not gonna try to
It's
name
just
them
cool
all.
because, like, in the houses that are themed as, like, movies and stuff, obviously, you can't take pictures of it.
Yeah.
So it's cool with the scare zones that are themed like that, because then you can take pictures with the props and it's like you're on the movie set and it's cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they were fine.
All right. Okay, then. So you want to just jump into the houses now?
Sure.
All right, then. So to begin with the houses, the main draw for this year, as I mentioned earlier, for me personally, was The Last of Us. That is, well, I want to say the second one is, but that series is my favorite, probably of all time, when it comes to games, single player games that I can play. Huge fan of it. Even shortly after you and me got together way back in the day, that was the game I was playing at the time, or I was about to play, and you watched a lot of it with me. So it was very important, and I was very excited that they were going to have this house. Because actually, there was a cast that me and Elmo did talking about, like, what if there was a gaming themed Halloween Horror Nights, and we each chose a few games and describe what we would do as houses. And of course, me being a huge Last of Us fan, I chose Last of Us as one. And so the fact that it was here, it was mind blowing. And the fact that it was even based on the game, not so much the HBO show. I was expecting the HBO show, because that's what's really putting the name out there, making a more universal name. Now, random people that we know that don't play games are talking about Last of Us. Teacher friends of yours, friends of mine, or everyone that it's just cool. So I was expecting that, but no, they're like, oh, let's go for the actual game. I'm like, this is insane. So very excited for that. Huge fan of Stranger Things. They had that coming back, and each time they come each time they come back, it's not the same house. It's based on the season. So it's like, all right, well, it's based on the newest season, which was probably the scariest season so far of Stranger Things, and how twisted it was. And yeah, and then they had Chucky, which we honestly, I always liked Chucky, but we recently started watching the show because we realized that this house was going to be based off of the Sci-Fi Network TV show. So we started watching it just to kind of, familiarize ourselves with what's going on, because, it's always fun to see when the scenes are played out on the house. And then that show has been really, really great. We saw the first season and watched almost all of it of the second season. By the time we were one episode behind, and we saw like one spoiler, but we didn't really know what it meant until we actually saw it. Like, oh, okay, that's what the chainsaw was for. But so yeah, there was a couple houses there that they got. So it was Chucky, Last of Us, Stranger Things, and then they got Exorcist Believer, which was a little weird because that movie isn't even out yet. So it's kind of like when we went through it was kind of like a trailer, but we'll discuss that more when we talk about it. But they had all these draws, but mainly for me it was Last of Us, and that's why I was really excited. So we were able to do all of the houses. And you said you actually reviewed them with scariest to worst to most disappointing, all that. Where do you want to begin?
Well, I mean, okay. Scariest to not so scary, and then I talk about like what I liked and like what I didn't from them. Okay. But
do you want to do the thing we did last year where when we were about to talk about the house, I read the description of the house?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me know which house you want to talk about, and I'll pull up the description.
Well, first of all, I wanted to throw in too that I was excited for Last of Us House 2, because that one is special to me, because even though I don't play games, like you said, that one was one that I watched you play through in the beginning of our relationship, and it's got a special place in my heart and all that. So I was excited for that one. And then obviously Stranger Things too, but especially Chucky. But Anyways, okay. So now I'll talk about them.
Yes.
All right. So the first one that I thought was the scariest was The Exorcist.
All right. So this is called The Exorcist Believer. Angela, Catherine, two missing girls have been found with no memory of what happened to them. But wherever they went, the ultimate evil has returned with them. Witness a chilling chain of events as you enter the most terrifying scenes from the new Blumhouse film. So this is, of course, a follow-up to the original Exorcist that we recently saw and did a cast together on not too long ago. And yeah, so again, this movie has not actually been out yet. So you're saying this is the scariest house?
Yep.
Okay. Why is that?
Okay, so you said you watch them go through like a series of what kind of events?
Witness a chilling chain of events.
Yeah. Ask me what those events were. I don't know. I can't tell you. If you listen to our cast about The Exorcist, I was like, the movie was fine. Everything, it was fine.
It wasn't that scary, all that.
It really was not scary. It was just the makeup and the girl being all scary looking.
Yeah.
So I don't care. That's the scariest thing ever. I was freaked out before we even went into the house, and that was the first one that we went to, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Yeah. And
there was only like a 20-minute wait or something at the time. So we didn't even use our fast passes then because you thought, maybe we'll go hit it up a second time.
Well, I didn't realize how much we're going to be stuffed in our faces.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying, but at the beginning of the day, it was like, oh, there's hardly a wait. We'll save our fast passes to go do it a second time. No, and no, and no. I was already afraid to go into it. And we got in there, and I just couldn't, handle it. My body was not ready, and my eyes were closed the entire time. And it was just
our money's worth.
Listen, just that house, just that one, because it's just too much for me. It's the demonic growls and the girl's voice, when they're possessed, those sounds. I feel them on me. It's just a scary feeling.
Yeah, that's your thing when it comes to horror. So the thing is, we're obviously, if we're going to this event, we're huge horror fans. If you guys are coming in new here, but everyone has their thing that really freaks them out, and I would say probably up there is anything satanic with possession and stuff. That's probably up there with my scariest things too. That's definitely on your end as well, and I could definitely see it in the house that we walk through.
So for me, that one was the scariest because it was just too creepy. I just couldn't handle it. Of course, I'm gonna go, but I don't know. My psyche, I can't. So that was one I had to go back and watch on YouTube and watch some other YouTubers walkthroughs with it. And then I got to see what I would have been getting into if I opened my eyes. And even if I would have watched that video before we went and knew what I was getting into, I still would have closed my eyes because I didn't want to see all that. And then I realized, were there new monsters in there?
I believe. See, this is the tough part because this movie isn't even out. So the way I took it was, in this movie, they're actually showing what this, what was the name of the,
what the demon,
what the demon actually looks
like.
like. Yeah, because it's not the actual devil itself. I forgot the name of it, but I feel like that's what they're showing because they kept showing that same figure over and over again. So maybe now they have a bigger budget. I don't really know. I mean, I don't even know if they showed it in the sequels because there was Exorcist 2 and 3.
Oh yeah,
but
I forgot. Yeah.
But this one, who knows? But hard to really tell. So this is what I want to lead into. I wasn't a huge fan of the house. It was cool. It was definitely scary and well done, I think. I mean, it was possession stuff happening. It was cool. They had some neat things happening with floating bodies and stuff on the ceiling and whatnot. And they had little, I don't know if they were little people or just really small stature people who were playing the girls, but them girls running around the house.
Mm-hmm.
So it was creepy. So it was I would say it was a scary house as well, but I personally didn't have a really amazing fun time just because I was so puzzled, and it's just like I don't like that a decision to release this before the movie came out. I think that was a bad choice on their end. But if you want to try to spin it in a positive way, then I guess it's kind of like seeing a live action trailer in front of you, I guess, because I am interested in seeing it. So we'll see when the movie comes out.
Yeah, I'll still watch it when we watch it.
Yeah.
I'll have my eyes open then because it's on the TV and not in my real life with me.
Okay. But, so Scariest House, Exorcist Believer.
Yeah.
All right then. Any more on that, or do you want to move on?
We can move on.
Okay. What's the next house you want to discuss?
The second scariest one, I guess, I put was the Yeti one.
Okay.
Should we read the description of the Yeti?
Yes. So this is oh no, that's the tagline. I was like, no way. It says Yeti or not, here they come. But no. It's called Yeti Campground Kills. All right, let me get this open here. All right, well, the cool, fancy version isn't pulling up, but there's still a description here. You and your friends are about to venture into a 1950s campground overrun by huge, menacing Yetis who rip apart anyone who gets in their way. You must flee to the Ranger Tower to escape. Yeti Campground Kills.
Yeah, so Yetis are one of the things that are up there for me. They always scare me. So, like, at the top...
Well, it honestly sounds like big furry creatures because werewolves are also up there for you too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So like, Exorcist monster thing, because not even like demonics. I guess that. Maybe it is. Possession, demonic, exorcist stuff. Like, yeah, that's its own thing. That's super scary for me because it's like that could happen in real life. We don't know.
Yeah.
But then you got your monsters that are scary to me. Yetis, werewolves.
Yeah.
And then the one year that they had the scarecrows, that was just, I don't know. I don't like those monsters.
That was a good year.
And again, it's the roars. Yeah. So I put in my notes, I don't have a lot. I just said, always scared of Yetis, and this one delivered for me. And I watched all the houses again on the YouTube walkthrough people, or the people who walked through. And I thought that I saw more than I think I actually did after rewatching it. So I didn't want to say I closed my eyes through a lot, but I think I did.
But you still, I guess you happened to open them during the more important moments. Okay.
Yeah, so I still saw a lot, but then when I was like watching the walkthrough, I was like, I missed more than I thought I did. But it was really scary, and in a good way though. I liked it.
Okay. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't really personally like the design they went with the Yeti. They also had a lot of different faces. I guess it was overrun by menacing Yetis. I guess that makes sense then. Because when I think of Yeti, I think of one. So it's like, to me, it would be cooler if it was just the one kind of attacking. But obviously, that's not the route they went. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It really wasn't that scary for me. However, as the main reason I love Horror Nights, I mean, the set design was great for that. It did look like a campground. There was some cool things happening with like just how destroyed everything was and everything. So I was impressed with what they did with the house, but I wasn't a fan of it or thought it was scary to me.
All right. So now, starting with 3 all the way through 10, it's not so much that they were scary, like I was actually afraid. It was more because of how much they made me jump and how much they made me like scream, because sounds get me too.
Yeah, I want to say this year, something I noticed was the jump scares were on it.
Yeah.
Like me and well, you yourself, but even Elmo has brought up, like, we're really kind of desensitized. You know, we're kind of used to a lot of this horror stuff. So in reality, we kind of know how these houses work. We see where the cutouts are for where someone's going to jump, everything, you know. But even with all of that knowledge, they still got me a lot this year. Like, not a couple of them made me actually jump, but actual surprises for me, they got me a lot this year. And I think they're getting really smart, like, because you just mentioned sounds, how they do the scares, how they time out. Like, I guess the characters are getting really good at timing it with the sounds that are happening, or they're incorporating more loud sounds when this character pops out. And it's not just music, it's like actual, like, or something. And at one point you even mentioned, like, I hate that the normal people are scaring me, because it would just be like, it would be like a hallway, and all of a sudden, where's Jimmy?
Yeah.
Or something.
Like, why'd you have to yell at me like that?
You know, you could have just asked the normal way. But yeah, and again, it's the timing of the loud voice all of a sudden happening with this character jumping out. And it just stood out to me this year way more than it did previous years. And it wasn't annoying. It was really well done and worked in the house's favor. Like you said, there was a lot of jump scares from just people.
Yeah.
Not even scary things. So anyways,
I talk about like effects and stuff of other houses and things that were because of the sounds and the things around it and stuff and the way that they did stuff. But I forgot what to say.
Well, I mean, what we can do is kind of talk about like the main ones, if you want. The main draw that we were there. The big houses.
I have those because I have them I have them numbered because.
So you're trying to go in order?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, okay, sure. Then we'll just go with the order then.
Okay. All right. So, anyways,
because keep in mind your order will be different than mine. But if you want to just follow yours. Then...
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay. All right then.
Well, we can.
No, go for it.
All right. So number 3, I put the Bloodmoon.
Okay. I want to say this is one of my top ones.
Yeah. Okay.
This is actually the last one we did, right? Last house
I think
we did.
so.
Yeah. So this is called Bloodmoon Dark Offerings. In a colonial era village, Why are you laughing? Moon worshippers witness a blood moon at their fall festival. They take it as a sign to hunt down any non-followers, including you and your Scream Squad. What are we, some kind of Scream Squad? Anyways, so...
It was me. I'm the Scream Squad.
Yeah. You were in full effect during that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a good one. This was another thing that... I guess there's a lot of things that creep me out. But kind of tied in with the satanic stuff is cult stuff. Mm-hmm. And this was a cult one, as you know, you just read. Moon worshippers or whatever. It was a lot of people in like burlap sacks and hoods and, you know, almost Ku Klux looking thing, but not as pointy hats.
And they were black cloaks.
They were black? No, they were burlap. They're like brown, dark brown.
Well,
like potato sacks. Black. Oh, I don't know. Maybe there were some. Who knows? Anyways, it doesn't matter. They were all hooded figures and very scary. And as with any house that has completely covered people, they had a room where there was a lot of them. And some of them were mannequins and some of them were not mannequins.
Well, there was a couple times they did it.
Well, like that's what I mean. Yeah, like when a house does that, they have the awesome advantage to do that and actually scare you. And that was nerve-wracking to walk through that room, because not only was it a straight hallway, you had to actually it was like a U-turn. You go in, you had to turn and walk through all of these things. And some of these cult people could be actual characters there. Yeah. And they were. So it was a very well done and very creepy house. And they actually had a cool effect of the moon up there. Like when we walked in, we're like, oh, look at that moon. That looks legit. This looks like it's an actual moon outside. So
with that though, I saw the blood moon and I didn't really know what the house was about. I was confused. I heard blood moon and I didn't really know the story. So obviously my brain went to werewolves. So I'm waiting for the werewolf to jump out at me.
I think you did mention werewolves. I'm like, I don't think that's what this is.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And it took me a few turns to realize, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. Because I didn't read or didn't pay attention to if it was ever read or whatever, so I didn't know. But, so I didn't know what to expect. And then I realized what was going on, and it did good. It all the jumps, it had me jumping a lot. There were lots of people jumping out, and every time they got me. And I think that's what I was thinking when you were talking before about, like, normal people scaring you and stuff. It's like, my eyes always try to look around the corner, and I try to look ahead and see people getting scared, and I would see the people come out and then go back in their hiding place, and then they would still go after me.
They would still get you,
and they would
and you
still
would
get
scream.
me. And I would scream every single time. So I thought that was really good. And then a few things that stuck out that were really creepy in there, like the burning body or burning something, and it was actually like, it smelled like barbecue.
Oh, I missed that.
It was like on the right side.
I saw the burning thing.
Yeah.
That didn't smell.
But like it just smelled like it, so that was cool.
That's neat.
And then the kids playing maypole.
Oh, but it was with guts or something?
Yeah, with like intestines.
Yeah.
And that was
cool.
creepy, but it was cool too. And they were really twisting some intestines up there.
Yeah, it was a very well done and well crafted house.
Yeah.
I want to say that's, I never actually thought of ranking them, but I want to say that's top 2.
Okay.
For me, it was up there.
Yeah.
So I was really, really pleased with that one.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
Number 4 was Chucky.
Ooh. That is Chucky, Ultimate Kill Count. Chucky, the serial killer doll, is back for a new gore fest. He's hijacked his own haunted house with all kinds of bloody hijinks. You and your friends must try to survive his ultimate kill count. So this was a neat house. Like we mentioned, this was a new show that we've been watching. Not too new, but we just started watching it to catch up, and it's way better than it should be. At least I think, because I always liked Chucky, but I never thought it was anything incredible. But I grew a big appreciation just watching the show, and really liked Chucky now, and how funny he is, and how goofy and silly it all is with it being the killer doll. But this one was neat because it was kind of like it was like fourth wall, yeah, or like like fourth wall breaking kind of thing. Like he was always
talking to us.
Yeah, he was like he had like TVs outside of his house while you wait in his line, like the only one that did. And it was like, hey, thanks for coming to my house at Horror Nights, and I'm ready to kill anyone or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, I thought it was cool because he kind of does a little bit of that in the show. Not to really spoil anything there, but there is times where he speaks to the audience. So it's kind of neat to see that translate to a house, and you just don't see that very often.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, ultimately it was cool. I mean, it's Chucky. It's a killer doll. He's always been creepy since I was a kid. He was traumatized me. I don't know why my dad was watching that movie with me. But anyways.
Because he's a good guy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, it was a very cool house. They nailed a lot of the big scenes from the show, and it looks like they were having some fun with some other things. But yeah, what did you think of the house?
I said I enjoyed it overall because I'm obsessed with the new show.
Right.
And I have a thing for, I don't want to say it and make it sound weird. It started to sound weird. I was going to say a thing for kids and shows, but that sounds weird. That's not what I mean. But like,
I know, that's right.
Just like, I like when the stories involve kids because they're just more fun, and I'm just always rooting for the kids. So I really, really like the new show. And I didn't really get the story of this house. Like, I kind of didn't like that it was a house that he was like hijacking and like doing his kill count. Like, I don't know. I just wanted it to be more of like in the show or in the movies rather than we're in like a toy factory or whatever with all the people in it.
Gotcha.
So I didn't like that direction of it. Yeah, like, I was really looking forward to like having the movies and the show brought to life.
Yeah.
rather than like them doing something different with it. But I still really liked it because I really liked the show.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, that's the fine. Obviously, it's your opinion and everything, but we get the shows brought to life all the time. So to kind of flip it on its head, I was appreciative of that. And like you said, I don't know how successful it was at accomplishing that mission. I'll agree with you. It wasn't that well done, but it was still there, and like there would be like employees that were like stabbed or whatever that were part of the house. So it is kind of goofy that it was intended to show like just like a normal house. Like there was scenes of the show there. There was all the kills, like you saw them there reenacted. I had to like try to point to one of, because you had your eyes closed or something at that time. And then like later on when we watched the videos together of the walkthroughs, I'm like, that's what I was trying to show you. This guy with the hole punched through himself. So they had all those scenes, but it looks like Chucky happened to be at the haunted house and he was messing around with the haunted house, which made it chaotic.
Yeah.
Which I can agree with, but I appreciate the attempt, and I thought it was neat and something different.
Yeah. And
so
because we didn't see the finale of the second season, in my head I was kind of hoping that when we went back to watch that episode, it would tie it in more, but it didn't.
No, it was like its own unique thing.
And then, like you said, the one spoiler that we saw, we didn't really look at it.
I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, we didn't know who it was. And then it was like, there was also some stuff that was probably from the movies too. And we obviously haven't really seen the movies. I mean, not all of them. So it just could have been from a movie that we had missed or something. Right. But I don't know. I still enjoyed it because...
Yeah, it's Chucky.
Yeah, it's Chucky.
It's not to like. All right, then. Moving on up. Or down, I guess.
Number 5, Twisted Orgins.
All right, Dr. Oddfellows' Twisted Orgins. You won't be able to resist going inside Dr. Oddfellows' menacing menagerie of twisted oddities. But the price for you and your friends is steep. The cost of your souls to feed his immortal power. I'll be honest, I don't really remember this house. Refresh me.
I don't really either. This one, I think...
Solid house.
Right? Well, like...
Oh, wait. I remember some of it, actually.
Okay. I think was this the, like, circus-y kind of one?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, again, I couldn't really remember it either, but I put it for number 5 because, again, lots of jumps.
Yeah.
And I liked that they kind of had like the 4D effect, like because it was like circusy, like the air that was being spit at us or whatever, I guess was like the knives that were being thrown across and stuff.
Yeah, like when the guy spins on the thing and someone throws the knives to like hit the board that he's spinning on or whatever.
Yeah.
So we walked through it, and yeah, that was cool. Like there was like air being shot, but timed with the sounds of a knife being thrown.
Yeah, so it was like...
And it felt legit. And Brad was like, what the heck? Something just nicked my butt. or something. It was just like, oh, it was well done. And then they had that mirror trick again that they did this year, that they did in another house, but where they had it was an open wall, but they had something kind of ornate next to it.
Yeah.
And then they had the exact same thing on the other side, so it looked like it was a reflection. But in reality, it was just a hole. And as you got closer to it, a person jumped out. And I remember that getting you and me at the time. So, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I do remember some of the house. And although I didn't really get the theme, I want to say this Dr. Oddfellow, I believe he's one of like the mascots that Horror Nights has used in the past. I believe that's what he is. You know, like the clown and Chance. The girl and the director and all that. I believe he's one of them. So I'm not too sure what his deal is besides circusy stuff. But I do remember liking some of what I saw. I remember like some contortionist lady. I don't know. It was neat. I want to say I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going into it. But I did struggle to remember some of it. So I wouldn't say it's anything super that stands out.
Yeah, ranked it there because, like I said, lots of jumps.
Yeah.
And then I said the lion was really scary.
Yeah,
There
it
was
was
a
a well
lion
done
in
house. It was a well done house for sure.
Yeah, and I don't remember what popped out shortly after the lion, but it was like the lion, rah! And then like walked not much further, and then there was something else that jumped out and got me. It was just like jump after jump. Again, like I said, like I already talked about the ones that were scary. I'm not saying this was scary, but it was just good with the jumps.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was that one. Number 6, Unmasked.
Unmasked. Let me find that real quick. Okay. Universal Monsters Unmasked. Descend into the Paris catacombs, where you and your squad will face a new horde of monsters. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, see, I guess I probably should have read that prior to going in.
Yeah, because I was still looking for Frankenstein and the werewolf and Dracula, and I'm like,
and
that's not what I'm seeing.
Now
here.
Going back to it,
it makes sense.
Now going back to it, it makes me appreciate it a little bit more because they've done Universal's monsters so many times. So I've seen Dracula, all that, the Frankenstein, all the time. So I actually was like yourself. I'm like, why are they showing these everyone else? And I guess I should have paid attention to the artwork and everything and realized that they just weren't really part of it.
Yeah.
So going back to it, that's kind of neat. But I remember not being too impressed with the house. I don't think the Invisible Man was very scary. Notre Dame got me. Let me tell you, with that jump scare. He was only towards the end, but he got me. He was scary.
Yeah.
And then, I couldn't tell who Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde was. I saw them, but I just don't know who was who. So it wasn't like that obvious. So like Mr. Hyde, I believe, is supposed to be the really monstrosity.
Oh.
Yeah. I was trying to say monstrosity, but the tense I was using. Anyways, he was supposed to be the monstrous one, and I guess I couldn't tell. I don't know. It wasn't too memorable for me as a house. I wouldn't say it's one of my lower ones for myself.
I mean, yeah,
I'm sure
it's headed towards the lower ones for me.
Yeah.
But so I put confused with the story, but now that we read the thing, now it makes more sense.
It makes a little more sense, yeah.
Because I'm like, especially the Phantom of the Opera one. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and Unmasked. Ooh. Anyways, but I put in the notes the mirror effects. I remember that one had mirror effects too, and they always get me. And then the fake walls, whenever they got like the boards that come down and then it's like a giant hole in the wall or whatever, and they slam those boards down and they're like, rah! Mix of the slamming and the roaring at you and screaming at you, it gets me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say when I went back, because I couldn't remember which house it was, that it was like, wasn't there like, couldn't there have been a monster here or a monster here or something? Was it that house? Because I was watching, one specific room thing that I remember is when we mentioned, like, there's not much going on here, huh? And then when I was watching the walkthrough, it was that house. So I don't know if it was just their walkthrough of that house was similar to our walkthrough of one of the houses.
Right.
That made me think that it was also that house.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to remember, but yeah, there was definitely one house where like the first 1/6 of it, there was just like nobody. There was no characters or anything. So it was weird, but I can't remember which house it was.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. But yeah, I guess I put effects and walls and stuff. They always get me. That was number 6. Mm-hmm. All right, number 7. The Last of Us.
Okay. I think I've heard of that series. All right.
Yeah.
The Last of Us. You and your squad will encounter the haunting and overgrown world of the video game in a brand new, terrifying way. Stay silent if you want to survive a multitude of clickers, hunters, and more.
So, the reason that one's like lower in my list, but not super low, is because I still, like I said, that one's got a special place in my heart. But I just wanted more. So overall for that one, I was just disappointed. I do really think they did a good job with the clickers and the what are they before the clickers?
I forgot.
Infected.
They're just infected. Yeah.
So they're like infected.
They're like on their way.
Yeah. So I feel like they did really good with those. It's just the story. Like I feel like I've just been confused about all the stories this year, and not really the story. It's just I wasn't able to directly pinpoint which scene it was from. Except for like the one car part or whatever, like that was more obvious. But otherwise, I was like, oh, I thought they would use different scenes, and then I don't know.
Yeah. So
I wanted more, but you talk about it because it's your house.
This is my house.
It's your house.
Yeah, this was probably the biggest disappointment of the night for sure for me. Very, very sad to see that this house, to me, was just not done well in some aspects. There was some really cool things they did, but let me tell you, I guess maybe what led to some disappointment. You know how your phone listens to you. So scrolling through social media, whether it be Instagram or TikTok, eventually they would show me a scene of The Last of Us house. And it would always pop up and there would be a live action Joel and Ellie talking. And I'm like, oh, and I would immediately scroll away. It would take me maybe 2 seconds to realize what's happening. I'm like, oh, this is a Horror Night house. And I would scroll away because I don't want to see it. But now I'm expecting, all right, so live action Joel and Ellie, there's going to be a scene. I remember them saying something about recording new dialogue for, like they got Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson to come back and reprise their role and provide new dialogue just for this house.
That's crazy.
So that was cool. And I was like, oh, this is what they were talking about. Oh, I can't wait to see it, but I don't want to see it now. And I'm like, it looks so good, but I don't want to see it anymore. And then come to find out, that's not here. That's not at Universal Studios Orlando, Florida. This is in Hollywood, California. So there's apparently a different creative team, one that works at the Horror Nights there and one that's here. Like, I mean, obviously, or not obviously, but there are years where they have completely separate houses or only share like one or two houses, and then they have different ones. And then Orlando has their own. And from my understanding, not to show pride or whatever the state that I live in, but from my understanding, Orlando does a better job with Horror Nights the majority of the time, from what I heard. But definitely not this year. So when we finally got to the house, and obviously very excited, they have the music playing outside. Come on, man, let's go. And then, yeah, the beginning part, I was like, okay, this is the scene where, Joel and Ellie crash, and then now they're out. Like, there was the guy that was pretending to be hurt, and he like throws his seatbelt on, and they get ambushed and they crash. So I'm like, this is it. I know this part. And then after that, it just leads into other parts I wasn't too familiar with. And there was only, to my knowledge, okay, there was 2 live action Joels. One at the very end that I would have missed if you didn't call it out. But at the very beginning, this guy with a really bad wig pretending to be Joel, crouching down and moving around. It was fun because that's what you do in the game, the little convenience store that he crashed into with his truck. That all looked legit, and whatever. It was silly because there was like hunters coming out and like pretending to whack you with a brick or whatever. So it was all there, but then just besides that opening set, like the rest was just, I couldn't really pinpoint exactly. It just looked like generic. Here's a generic bathroom. This didn't stand out to me. But what they did do there is they did the spore effect where it looked like spores were flying around. And I assume they did that with some kind of projection or something. It was really well done. And then they even had like shadows of Joel and Ellie like putting on their gas masks to get through it. And one thing that's a difference from the show. The show isn't even doing that. So if there are people coming in for the first time just because of the HBO show, that's not a thing in the show. So curious what people thought of that, or if they just, I don't know, if they just weren't aware of what that was about. But anyways, so they did that effect really cool. So it looked legit, and I was very happy with that. But then after that, the majority of the house, they focused on the half kind of starting to get infected people. I just wanted to see some clickers. I wanted to see some bloaters. I wanted to see whatever. And I think we had a bad run of the house because the bloater scare I kind of saw ahead of me. I saw it happen to someone else. And by the time I got there, he was just kind of like chilling and waiting for more time to pass so he can go do the same thing again, to the next people coming through. So I didn't get a chance to really experience the bloater coming out and surprising me. So that really sucked. And that was one of the things I was looking forward to. And again, it was just a lot of like half infected people, which are my least favorite part of The Last of Us. I like the full clickers. To me, those are scary because in the game, they can like one hit kill you. But anyways, so, and then eventually you get to see the clickers. And like you said, makeup, everything, well done. They look scary. They look like from the show. They look really well done. Every now and then I could see like the mask or whatever, but that's just because I always look. I always look for that stuff. I always want to see how stuff's done. I saw how the bloater thing was done and how it was pieced together. That's just me. Not a complaint at all. But yeah, ultimately the house, it had a live action Ellie in there. She was doing whatever, and then they had one Joel that was shooting from a. So I did remember that scene. He was like on the second story building and he was shooting out there, and I didn't even see him. You had to point him out to me, like, oh yeah, that's right, that's Joel. Apparently during that scene there was supposed to be another bloater scare, and we just somehow completely missed it. I didn't even see the dude hiding or anything. I didn't even see him there. But when we saw another walkthrough of the Orlando one, he was there. So it was towards the end there was another good scare. So ultimately the house was just very not well done. Like you couldn't really pinpoint where it was from. The focus wasn't there. The focus should be Joel and Ellie, and it looks like Hollywood really got that. I went and saw the walkthrough through Hollywood, and they did a much better job. I mean, just the fact that they even had that intro scene of them talking, and it was just Joel. It was Joel and Ellie just like speaking a little bit, and then she like does some of her joke books and whatever, and then that's it. But then they had like stuff incorporated from the games. Like there's dumb scenes where you have to turn on generators, and Joel's trying to do that while you're walking through the house, and like there's just a lot more Joel and Ellie live action. All very different looking people, but the Hollywood house did much better than Orlando did this year, and I'm very, very sad about that because this was the house I was looking forward to.
Hey, but they still got a whole nother month of this. We could go fly over there real quick.
Yeah. Oh God, we spent so much on this most recent trip to Horror Nights. Yeah, no, it's not to talk about it. We didn't spend anything. It was free. Anyways. So yeah, so that was probably my biggest disappointment. I want to say it's the worst house. I still had I want to note I still had a great time in it. I was very happy to see it happening, but it did not meet my expectations. So, anyways.
Yeah. So
longer rant on that one, but that's because it was a big one.
Yeah, and so in that case, if there's any way that this makes it to some Universal production team and you're looking for new people to plan, Felipe is available for hire.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah, hire me.
Because he's got some really good ideas. And
yeah, just listen to my cast about the video game Horror Nights. It's pretty good. Anyways.
Just put a quick link right here. Boop.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
And you can't even see me where I was pointing.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways. All right, next house.
All right, so number 8, I put Stranger Things.
Okay, let me find Stranger Things.
So strange.
See, this is one of the ones I can expand on and read the cool one. I could have done that with Last of Us, but I didn't realize until after I read it. But anyways, Stranger Things 4. You must band together with your squad if you want to resist Vecna's gruesome curse. Take on the scariest season of Stranger Things yet. Like 11, now's your chance to stop him once and for all, as you have the ultimate showdown in Vecna's blood-red mindscape. Every ending has a beginning.
I really liked the set.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was well done to the show.
Yep.
And I loved how when I don't like to look up in houses, and I I miss out on a lot in houses sometimes because I'm so like trying to look straight ahead of me. But because I felt comfortable enough and I liked it and it's not super scary to me anyways, I was more comfortable to look around and like actually look at stuff. And like in the beginning, when you first walked into the trailer and you saw Eddie with Chrissy,
Yeah.
That was really good. I liked Eddie, the Eddie that they had in there.
Yeah.
He was good.
Legit.
And then you walk through a little bit more, and I really, really, really liked when you look up, you saw Dustin in the
upside down. Well, I think we
normal?
were in the upside down.
Yeah, we were in the upside down.
Yeah.
So in the real life, normal life, right side up.
The right side up. But you would have missed that if I didn't show you.
No, I would have saw it.
Okay.
Because I was like kind of looking. It took me a second to like adjust and like let myself look really into it. But I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. And I really liked
it was really cool.
Like how they had the whole sheet rope or whatever.
Just like in the movie.
Right side up and Dustin was standing there. So I really liked that. And then walking through more, I really loved seeing Eddie on top of the trailer thing, and he was fighting the bat things.
Yep.
And they had his guitar there. The only thing I wish he would have picked it up and like played it.
Yeah, he was
like
just,
I was like, come
and it
on.
was just him, wasn't it? At one point, Dustin too.
Yeah, it was
for a second,
him and Dustin.
And then at the end, it was.
But in our walkthrough, it was just Eddie. But I did notice in the other walkthrough that I was watching, Dustin was there.
Oh, okay. Because now that I remember, you heard Dustin speaking. You heard it was clips from the show or whatever. So I'm like, well, what the heck's Dustin?
Yeah.
So I guess we missed that.
Yeah.
I want to say I did feel like there was some people missing from that one.
Maybe that's the one that was like missing. No, because
no. I said it was, but then I'm like, oh wait, no, because Eddie was there and whatever. Yeah. So no, but no, that one was cool. I wish I would have seen a recap video of Stranger Things. Even though that was probably like my favorite season, the newest one. But I wish
some more things too to say too.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wasn't
go ahead.
gonna move on or anything. I was just saying I wish I would have seen a recap so I can, familiarize myself again with what was going on. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. There was some good spots again with that trickery of like the windows and the walls or whatever. It was cool seeing 11. And she was like in the side, like on one side, and she was like doing her. I'm sitting here putting my arm out. You guys can't see me, but the thing that she does when she's fighting somebody
when
over
she
there.
nosebleeds.
Yeah, and so that was cool seeing her. I feel like they kind of cheaped out a little bit in the one hallway that we walked in though with 11, and she was in the suit, the white suit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I was like, that straight up is a dummy.
Yeah.
Like y'all didn't even try for that, and I don't know. So I was like kind of bummed. And then I noticed it more in the walkthrough, I'll admit, in the video walkthrough. But I noticed it a few times too when I wasn't too scared. It was like a transition. You saw the transition of Vecna. And like you saw him, like his human when he was at the school and stuff, and then you saw him like kind of half turning into Vecna, and then finally you get to the Vecna land, and then that's where I was like, surprisingly, like I was like, how is this somehow underwhelming? I don't know, like it was cool because they had stuff, and I feel like everything was there to make it feel really cool, but I don't know if it was just the Vecna characters themselves that weren't good at like scaring, but I wanted them to be more scary because I do remember when we watched the show, Vecna was scary to me and like he freaked me out, but being in the house with him, I wasn't afraid of him.
I could see that. I mean, I wasn't a huge or not a huge fan. That came out wrong. I wasn't scared of Vecna in the show. He was definitely intimidating, and he was forced to be reckoned with. So like I did feel fear for those that were near him. But I want to say I agree with you with the way they handled him in the house. Like whenever he was around, it was never really frightening He was just kind of there.
Yeah, he was just there. He wasn't
And-
like trying to come at you and like get your soul or nothing.
I mean, I want to say he reached out once, but it might have happened like after I had already passed. So maybe I just didn't get him at a good time. You know, that's one of the bad things with the houses is, you know, you could have a bad run of the house. You know, if we just happen to be, you know, like if a character scares someone a couple of people ahead of you and doesn't get a chance to scare you, then at that point you missed a good scare or missed a good experience. So perhaps that was going on there. But yeah, I agree. He wasn't really menacing at all in the house. It was cool to see him fully spiderwebbed out or whatever towards the end there. We had all his tendrils, I guess his final form or whatever. But yeah, I agree. Not the scariest.
Kind of underwhelming, but I really liked a lot of what they did with it.
Yeah, I'd say that adapting the season-wise, I want to say this was probably the worst one of the Stranger Things houses they've had. And it was still good, but yeah, I mean, compared to other ones.
Oh, and then something that just popped in my head too. Again, when regular people scare you over the monsters.
Yeah.
Freaking, what's his name? Steve is like one of my favorite characters from the show.
Yeah.
And somehow his character is who scared me and made me jump in that house.
I forgot what
I don't even remember what he was doing, but he was just like, "Wah!" And then he just started like talking normal. And I'm like, why did Steve scare me?
Yeah.
Steve is the one I would feel safe with. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. All right then. Moving down.
Number,
we're almost done, right?
Yeah, just got number 9 and number 10. Okay.
All right.
Number 9.
I can almost probably guess which was 9 or 10 because it's probably my 9 or 10.
Yeah. So 9.
Oh wait, actually no, because actually one of the houses you haven't said yet was one of my favorites, and the fact that it's so low is very interesting. But okay, go ahead. What's your next one?
Well, I know that my number 10 can't be your number 1.
Okay.
So maybe the Darkest Steel one?
Yeah.
Okay. That one I said that I had no idea what to expect, but I liked what it was doing and that there was lots of jumps.
Okay. So let me read the Darkest Steel. This is your number 9.
Oh yeah, I forgot to let you do that.
It's all right. Blues musician, Pine Straw Spruce, will have to face the music after meeting with the collector and trading his soul for musical glory. You and your squad learn the terrible price of fame. So ultimately, like it says there, blues magician does a deal with the devil to become a better performer.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, going into it, I'm like, this is going to be the dumbest house. Why are they doing a scary thing about a blues musician? Like, that's so, like, to me, that was dumb. And that was probably to my benefit because I had just the worst expectations for this house. And I actually came out thinking that was probably one of my top few houses. It was just so different, and I always love when they use more live action people than dummies. And that blues guy who was always up there, and you can see him starting to become a little more possessed, or he had like them weird green contacts at one point or whatever. But it was cool because it was, I don't know, it was just so different. It was just kind of neat to see, like, the beginning where he's like signing the deal, and like one of the jump scares is the devil turns and like shows you like the contract that he just signed or whatever. And then like shortly after that, after you turn the corner from seeing that, the devil pops out and scares the crap out of you right away in the house. I'm like, oh geez. So yeah, a lot of jump scares in the house. And I don't know, I just liked the whole, I didn't think I would, but I liked the whole aesthetic of like the blues people. Cause like at one point he was playing and there was this character who was like really into the music. He was like snapping and everything, like bopping his head, and he was one of the guys that all of a sudden like jumped out and like scared the crap out of me. And I was like, yo, you were just vibing. Like, go back to that. Why'd you gotta scare me? But
well, remember though, like, just because it's number 9 doesn't mean it was like one of the worst houses for me. It was just least scary.
Yeah, that's why interesting how you chose to do the ranking, but yeah, I mean, I guess I don't remember how scary it was. I mean, I remember the jump scares, so I want to say it was not low scary wise to me, but regardless, it was one of my favorite houses. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I still liked it. I had good stuff.
It was cool.
Say, overall.
Anything else before we go to the worst house of the night?
No.
Okay.
That's good. I liked it too. Like I said, my thing was just to do scariest to least scariest. I guess I should have did my favorite to least favorite.
That would have been best, I think.
Next year, guys, tune in again.
I'll edit everything. No. No. Okay, so the last house, Dueling Dragons. Choose thy fate. 2 warlocks of great power were turned into dragons after trying to take Merlin's spellbook. Now you and your friends are caught in their epic battle. You must choose a path and a victor. So I think one of the things that ruined this house for me was the cast change prior to it.
Oh, when we saw them?
Yeah. And typically when there's cast changes, in case you don't know, that's just when the characters have to trade places with people and new characters come in and the other ones go on break or whatever. So they have to eventually get to the house. So there is a possibility of you seeing all the new characters coming in and then watching the old ones leave. Typically when they do this, they're just covered in robes. You can't really see their outfits or anything. But there was like a spectacle to this house, including a lot of LED lights and a lot of armor and weird effects to make it look like magic on these warlocks. There was no way to cover these people. So when they left, you saw them in their full outfits, glowing, a lot of like very bright LEDs. And of course you're seeing it in full light. So not really scary. I don't think this house was supposed to be scary. It definitely wasn't. But I don't know. It was just kind of goofy looking. So we got to see that like right before we went in. So we got like a fresh new cast of characters or whatever. But I think that kind of ruined it for me because not only was I confused with the theme, I know Dueling Dragons is a Universal thing. That was one of their roller coasters that we got to go on.
Yeah, one of my favorite roller coasters of all time.
Actually, no, I didn't go on them until it was Harry Potter.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I did, though.
Yeah, but it was the same thing, right? The roller coasters were the same. They just changed the entrance and theme to it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they just
still
made
one
it
of my
work.
favorite.
Of course, yeah, and I would agree. I actually really like those roller coasters. I was a wimp with roller coasters back in the day, but I eventually got to them. But by the time I did, it was Harry Potter themed. Yeah. So I know that they were bringing back an IP that Universal owned for their park. So I thought that was kind of cool. But I didn't like this house. This whole 2 warlocks fighting and then they eventually turned dragons. Like, cool effects. Like, there was like some cool pulses of like when like magic would hit a tree or something near you. Mm-hmm. But another thing that was bad with the house is there was a lot of stopping. Like, yeah, we were kind of stuck in some areas and there was just a slowdown. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they let too many people in at the same time and it just got slow. But we were just kind of just sitting there for a little while, just watching the same magic effects happen. And it eventually just kind of got tiring. And then, yeah, I mean, you see these 2 guys pretending to fight and shoot magic balls with each other. And that was not scary to me. No. Even the sounds or anything really wasn't that bad. I thought it was very cool. Like I said, very good uses of LED lights and everything. It's different for Horror Nights. Typically, you think scary or dark and moody and scary, but it was very bright with all the colors and whatever, very vibrant. And then eventually they turned into the dragons. And that room I remember looking cool because I'm like, oh, you didn't even notice. I'm like, look, they're turning into the dragons. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot they did that. And then like, because you could see like the scales or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then one of the interesting things I thought was cool about the house is like, oh, okay, you get to choose like you do in the roller coaster. By the time you get to the front of the line, you go on the red dragon, the red roller coaster, or the blue one. And they did the same thing for Harry Potter. But so I heard they were doing the same thing for the house. And I thought, oh, when you walk in, you're going to have a choice to go left or right. But that didn't happen until after they turned into the dragons at the very end of the house. And then I think we just chose blue because there was some people in front of us that did not want to follow and they went to red. So I'm like, let's go to the right.
And blue is always superior.
And blue's best, always. But that was a hallway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can see technically two different things, but it's like, I can only imagine that the thing on the other side is the exact same, but just red.
Yeah, like there was no like need in me to go through the house again just
Yeah.
to see the end of the other side.
Yeah, it was like the smallest division and what you could, how to get to the end. And it was just, to me, not good. So to me, I want to say that was probably the worst house of the night.
Yeah, my notes pretty much just, it was dumb. But I did like the colors and the light effects. And yeah, I didn't care for it.
Okay. All right, then. So that was all 10 houses at Halloween Horror Nights, Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida. You said you had random notes. So I guess, some honorable mentions of Horror Nights, just our experience? Or like what? I guess just start.
Well, okay. So I can't remember what house it was in. Maybe it was in the Bloodmoon one. But I really thought it was cool. Like I said, I don't know which house it is. And it's like hard to explain when you can't see what I'm doing. But there was like a wall. And the way that we were walking, this guy jumped out to scare you. And the way that he went back in, it was like the wall was kind of staggered at like a neat angle to where you couldn't, it just looked like it was flush with the wall. So I don't know, maybe let's say there was 2 beds and like a nightstand or something. Mm-hmm. It looked like coming towards it, that's what you saw. But when you actually came past where the guy was standing, somehow he jumped out. And like the way that it was or something, like you couldn't see how he was blocked because it didn't look like it was blocked until you were like in front of him.
Audience, I'm looking at Tara tried to explain this using her hands.
We did this last year with something I tried to describe too.
and I still don't understand. So it's okay if you don't. I really don't. I don't know what scare you're talking about. It sounds cool.
The guy he looked like a normal person. He had like long Jesus hair and he was like, right, he came out from the side or something, but I don't know, whatever. That's why it made me think it was probably like, no, because there wasn't normal people in the Bloodmoon, was there?
I don't think so. If they were maybe being sacrificed. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like villagers or whatever. But
I don't know which house it was, but like I said, it was cool because from one angle, he wasn't obstructed. Like it just looked like everything was fine. But there was like an almost like invisible wall there or something. Like just from what the angle was. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So like you couldn't see him come out. And I know there wasn't a trap door right there because there was no door or anything that he was coming from. It was just literally he was against the wall and he came out. I don't know.
They've done cool effects with like mirrors and perspective before. I want to say I was a little disappointed I didn't see too much of that this year, but it looks like you got to see at least one of it. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. And then, again, I just mentioned the trap walls that slide up and down. They're just good with that and how they slam things. And then at one point there was like some monster that was kind of like up on the roof that kind of came down at you a little bit.
Yeah, like a little bungee cord or something to keep them from...
I like when they do stuff like that because then it's like no angle safe.
Yeah, I want to say that this year I noticed a lot more stuff happening above you than other years. Even just a simple like hand reaching. Like I think one of the Last of Us houses had a hand reaching out, or one of the Last of Us. the Last of Us house.
Yeah.
But I noticed a lot of hands or demonic claws or something coming up from above you a lot.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the guy leaning up in front of us. Even in that Bloodmoon offering, there was like some dude way up high on the bell tower just ringing it.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing much, but he was just there ringing the bell. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. Just
Yeah, it is cool
something
how
far in
they're
the
starting
distance.
to do more of like the second story stuff too.
Yeah, and Joel in the second story, all that. So yeah, something I noticed as well.
Oh yeah, and then the Chucky house that reminds me because and I think The Last of Us did it, and maybe the Bloodmoon one, where you would like travel from one set to another. Chucky's was like the worst with that. And like I didn't like theirs because we walked through and it was like, oh, that's it. Oh, here's the out. And it really looked like we were going back outside, but then it was no, we were just going to like another room or something.
Yeah,
where
that was
the next part of the set was, and that was like strange. Like I feel like that should have been done better.
Yeah, they should have put a little roof just to keep that going. But yeah, that's actually what they did last year for when they did Blumhouse, Freaky, and the Black Phone.
Yeah.
They use both. They use that separation as your all right. The Freaky ended. Now you're going into Black Phone.
Yeah.
Which made sense for that. But this just continued. So yeah, when you, me, and Brad got out of the Chucky house, at least what we thought we got out, we're like, oh man, that was really short. That kind of sucks. And then we realized there was still more Chucky signage, and there was just like some kid dressed as Chucky saying, no, don't go in there. It was like really cheesy or whatever. I'm just like, oh, it's still going. All right. And then we continue on through the house. I'm just like, that was dumb.
Yeah, that was not like
it works for when it's split like what they have, because that wasn't the only year they've ever split two houses. Like they at one point they combined The Purge and Insidious in one house, and that was whatever, or Happy Death Day and The Purge or something.
Yeah.
So they've done it before, but it was cool this time that there was a division, so you step outside for a second, leave that world, and then venture off into the next one. But the fact that it was all one Chucky house was just weird.
Yeah. And then Megan. I thought we were going to see Megan.
Yeah, there was rumors of Megan having her own house or having her own scare zone, but to my knowledge, she only shows up during certain sections and does a little dance performance with a few Megans. But I wasn't sure if it was at this one or Hollywood.
I saw a few videos on like the social medias and stuff that showed it was Orlando.
Oh, okay.
That had Megan. But I think it was like how we've seen like the street performers doing like the buckets and stuff.
Yeah, it's just random.
Past years.
Or I'm sure there's planned, but I don't know. What the schedule is.
But we just never saw it. So I was just bummed. Like we never saw it because
I know.
I like that movie.
Another bum thing is I saw there was some really cool Last of Us t-shirts that were apparently released, and it took us a long time to find where they were supposed to be. And then when we finally found it, I go and ask the guy, like, hey, do you guys have these shirts? He's like, no, those all sold out before Horror Nights started. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
So I guess they released like a really cool white version, or just a better design of the t-shirt that they had, and they just didn't have it anymore. It was like they released it as a special preview for the houses. So that sucks. So I still ended up getting the Last of Us t-shirt, but it was the black one, and I wasn't a huge fan of it because I have so many black shirts and the design wasn't as good, but it was still cool. I needed to get it. I don't even, as big a fan as I am, I don't even have a Last of Us shirt, so I might as well get it, mix it with Horror Nights, which I love. And I ended up getting a glass as well, a clicker glass.
Yeah.
So
my only regret is that I didn't buy the Chucky fan.
Really?
Yeah, like I wish I did, but it was like $18 for it.
It was huge.
But it was a beast of a fan. It was one of those like the ones that you like fan out.
Yeah, like the Japanese style.
Yeah, and
Asian
that
style.
you like flutter it on you or whatever. But the power and the wind you got from that thing, I really wish I got it. So if anybody's going there, I'll Venmo them if they want to pick one up for me.
You can order it from UniversalStudios.com.
You think so?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I was looking for the shirt and it wasn't there.
Well, if I can get the fan, I still want to get it.
All right then. Did you have anything else to mention, or should we kind of give a review, our overall thoughts on the thing?
Yeah.
All right then. So here's my overall thoughts on this Horror Nights for this year. Horror Nights, I don't think has ever been bad. There's been some lower years. There's been some amazing years. So to me, Horror Nights is always worth going. It's going to be a tradition we always do unless they somehow really drop the ball and screw it up and don't get anything good or something. But even if there's no amazing houses, they just do such a good job. And, you know, we're big horror fans and we like getting scared and all that. So to me, I'll always be grading Horror Nights on a curve. Like, it will always be good no matter what. But
even when we're disappointed, it's like not really like disappointed, like, oh, I wish I didn't go.
Yeah, no. I'm very, very happy I went. Always a good time. It's not one of the stronger years. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
There's been better years. There's been way worse years.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I would say mid to between the 50% and 100%, like somewhere in there is where it falls. Like, it was a solid year. We had a really good time. We explored food more this year. Like I said, with a couple of exceptions there, all the houses were decent.
You can tell the people how we got to experience all the houses and some food and just like be able to enjoy our food.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you said you didn't want to talk about it, but yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, we got the express passes and we did it 1 year prior. I forgot why we did. Oh yeah, our friend said we should try it because we took our friend for the first time to her Horror Nights and we just did normal admission. And, you know, it was a little rough. Those lines can get kind of ridiculous sometimes. And towards the end of the night, as fun as the night was, you can see everyone's kind of stress levels going up or how fed up people were. You know, the mood just overall shifted down. So when she left, she's like, hey, I know those fast passes are like really, really expensive, but maybe we should try that out next year and see how that goes. And we did. And we got the fast passes last year and hella expensive, but very, very good because we were able to do everything so quickly and we had more time to enjoy ourselves or pace ourselves.
And we even went back to some of the houses.
Yeah, we went back to some of them, even though we used some fast passes. By the time, you know, towards the end of the night, most of the houses dropped down to like just a few minutes. So we were like, okay, well, that was a cool thing to say we did it. And, you know, if money is ever tight, I'd say general admission's fine. We just time it out on a better day. You know, you go on a Thursday or a Sunday or something, you should be okay with doing all the houses.
Saturday.
Yeah, definitely not on a Saturday. But this year, we originally had plans to go with our friend on a Saturday, but they weren't. She unfortunately canceled or wasn't able to at the last moment. So we already had our tickets, and then we're like, well, it's a Saturday, so we need the fast passes, and of course they're even higher priced on Saturdays. But to me, it's like, look, it's The Last of Us. I want to make sure I can see this freaking house. I don't want to have any opportunity to miss it, so I'm gonna get the fast passes. So it was a ridiculous amount of money. Not proud that we spent that much.
That wasn't the point that I was trying to make. It was, if you're gonna go on a Saturday and you want to guarantee to see all the houses and have time to breathe in between and
yeah, we were chill. There was really no rush.
Then get the fast pass.
Yeah. The only thing we didn't do actually is the shows.
Yeah.
We could have.
We could have. We had time. We could have, if we didn't spend as much time, like we could have taken some of our foods to go.
Exactly.
But
no, we just had a good time. Strolled around Universal.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Went on the Mummy.
Have to do it. I think that's the only ride we went on, right?
Yeah, this time.
Yeah.
But.
Oh no, Men in Black.
Oh yeah, we did Men in Black.
Yeah, we did Men in Black. Anyways.
But.
Overall, solid year. Are we trying to like give it a score?
I don't know what I'd score it. 6, 7?
I would say 7.
7?
Again, because it'll never be like maybe it could be.
And there was like a couple things that like we really loved, like The Last of Us, like that was really special.
Yeah.
And
Even though it was the disappointing house, it was still fun. I still loved it. Like I just wish I loved it more. I wish
It
it
was
would
like
met the expectation that Hollywood set.
yeah, and I think it was more disappointing because it was close to you.
Yeah.
And like you had,
for sure.
I
had my own
love for
personal
it. Yeah.
expectations for it that just weren't met. But
I
hey,
think that could be any critic
Yeah.
who, is really familiar with something.
right. All right then. Well, those were our thoughts on The Last of Us. Wow, this is a long one, huh?
Is this the longest one I ever did with you? No, Disney.
No, Disney.
Never
That was
mind.
4 hours, just about. Anyways, thank you very much for making it this far. If you're still with us.
And don't forget to tell us what kind of butterbeer.
Oh yeah. Frozen or regular?
Or boring.
Yeah, frozen or boring. Which is your butterbeer of choice? And are you one of those weird people that prefers like the ice cream only? No, don't do that.
No, I've done that one time. Never again.
Yeah, that's not good. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, everybody. Again, wish Elmo could be here to join in. Hopefully he joins us again soon. And there is one thing that he usually does mention, but I'm gonna have to ask you, Tara, to remind the audience.
Oh, to keep it educated.
Okay, well, we're supposed to say it at the same time, but okay, that works too.
1,
Okay.
2, 3.
Keep it educated. Oh, gosh.
Come back, Elmo.